Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from New York City in WCS America. Of course, you're watching the Challenger League group stage. This is day 3. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Are you having a good Wednesday, Nick?
I'm having a great Wednesday.
Good.
Kapach, maybe not having a great day so far, of course.
Yeah.
So far in the group, we've seen Kapach fall to HuK 2-0, and Idra, again, is forfeiting spots. So out of the 3 players playing in the group, 2 will make it to Premier League, 1 will be in Challenger League next season. And the 2 players to make it Premier League are, of course, the winner of the next match, HuK versus XY.
Yep.
Then loser of that match will fall down to the final match to play against Kapach. The winner of that final match will also make the Premier League.
Yeah, so either HuK or XY will advance to Premier League after this next match, of course. They both can, and that depends on if the loser can beat Kapach. So, a lot on the line here. Again, Premier League is the league everyone wants to be in. You're guaranteed $1,500 if you make it into Premier League. It's not a bad payday, and of course, if you get to round of 16 of the Premier League, you get to start traveling, to the United States to participate live. And then, of course, advancing on to the round of 8, etc. Maybe you can get to the seasonal finals, which is always a good thing. Of course, the Season 1 finals actually happened this past weekend, and that was very exciting. So a lot of great opportunities for this, guys, not to mention the WCS points. Those might be the most important things. Again, that's what gets you into the season finals. That's what gets you into the World Finals at BlizzCon. So, a lot on the line here today. And, of course, 3rd place goes to Challenger League. 4th place is completely out. But since Idra did forfeit his matches today, he's going to be the one who's out. And so that's good news, I guess, for everyone in this group. At least they get into Challenger League.
That's right. And Challenger League is not easy to get into. I mean, a reminder of this season's Challenger League qualifiers, we saw, for example, Hyun didn't even qualify for Challenger League. He lost, I think, Puck in the winner bracket, then Sage in the lower bracket, struggling with that Zerg vs Protoss. And he's a guy who, the season before, he was in Code S in WCS Korea. And then he dropped out of Code S, and then instead of playing in Code A to get back in Code S, he said, you know what, let's go over and play in America instead. Didn't work out so well for him, so just having a guaranteed spot in Challenger League is a big thing, because it's very difficult to get into even the Challenger League of WCS America.
Yeah, and how it works is we typically have Challenger League qualifiers to get into the Challenger League. So that's the great thing about STARCRAFT 2. You could be watching this right now. You could actually be playing STARCRAFT 2, and you could start thinking you're good enough to try to actually qualify. You can try to get into WCS America when that tournament ends up coming around. Of course, I think we have limited it to Masters players.
Yes.
Masters and Grandmasters, I think that constraint has been done. So if you're wanting to participate more and you want to try to be a pro, get Masters League first and then participate in the Challenger League bracket. Of course, we have a lot of players like that in the Challenger League. Neeb, for example, one of those players who, I'm sure plays a lot of StarCraft 2, maybe watches a lot of StarCraft 2 and decided he wanted to give it a shot as far as playing in the tournament. Did very well. We have players like Bales,
Drunken Boys,
Drunken Boy, a lot of these up-and-comers, Xenocider, we have Theognis, Puck, a lot of these up-and-comers able to make decent runs in the bracket stage, and now we're seeing players like Theognis and Puck in Premier League. They're going to be in Premier League Season 2, so if you're getting good at StarCraft 2, definitely give that Challenger League tournament a shot, and maybe you can be on the big stage. And I think that's one of the greatest things about StarCraft 2. Not only can you play it, but as you get better and better, you can try to break into the esports side of it, where you compete against the best in the world.
That's right. Of course, our next upcoming match is against XY from China and HuK, who dual citizenship from America and Canada.
Yes.
We're still waiting for them to do the vetoes. XY spent a lot of time thinking about which position he wanted to be in. He said he wants to be in the B position.
Right.
He was a higher seed, and what that means is HuK gets the first veto, and then XY is going to get 2 vetoes, and HuK gets another veto. Of course, that's 4 vetoes total. We start with 7 maps. I'll bring it down to 3. Those are 3 maps we're going to play. HuK still deciding his first veto, but given this map pool and HuK's style of PvT, I think we're going to see maps like Star Station and then...
from HuK?
Yeah, from HuK.
Or vetoed?
Vetoed.
So HuK's going to veto Star Station?
Yeah,
okay.
I would imagine. So Star Station, almost every Protoss, they're first in every matchup except for PvP, because that's different. Their first veto was always Star Station. Yep, there goes Star Station. So XY, from a Terran perspective, he's going to be thinking, okay, I don't want a map where it's super easy to take a third base. I don't want a map where...
Akalon?
Yeah, Akalon is a map he might veto. Daybreak he might veto, depending on his style.
Yeah. So let's
a lot of Terrans don't like Whirlwind either.
Okay, he said Cloud Kingdom Akalon. And now HuK has...
1 veto.
Neoplanet S?
I would do Neoplanet S.
I would too. Or Whirlwind, I think. Maybe?
I'm a Protoss who likes Whirlwind. Some people don't like it. It's very stylistic. So the 4 maps left are Belshir, which no one ever vetoes.
Yeah.
Ever in any matchup. And then another map left would be Daybreak, Whirlwind, and Neoplanet S.
I think it's going to be Neoplanet S.
It's not going to be Daybreak or Belshir. It's either going to be Whirlwind or Neoplanet S, and probably, I would assume Neoplanet S as well. Although HuK, for example, Neoplanet S is typically a great tier map, but we saw Killer against Major. In their first set, he didn't veto it, and he did this cheese on it. And he had this pre-planned out cheese build because it's a short rush distance.
Right.
And so HuK may have a similar thing. In fact,
he vetoes Daybreak.
So he definitely wants to play aggressive.
So what do you think XY will pick? Neoplanet S or Whirlwind?
For the first map?
I don't think he'll pick Belshir. I think it's going to be Whirlwind or Neoplanet S.
Yeah, Whirlwind's... As a Terran player, I would like to pick Whirlwind. Because it's a map where you can get the best feel for your opponent's style.
Yeah.
Because it's a little more spaced out. You can see, okay, does he like to really play defensive? Does he like to play aggressive?
And he might be thinking also, okay, why didn't HuK veto Neoplanet S?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to, because it's a tricky map.
And you get kind of hints into your opponent's skill set, because okay, he probably has to prepare to build Neoplanet S.
Right.
So if I push that back further into series, I can get a better idea of the way he plays, and I can tell, okay, he's a player. If he's going to do a timing, it'll be Colossi. Or no, this guy really likes early gateway timings. Right. Or, it gives you kind of a clue to look out for.
So I'm going to guess XY chooses Whirlwind to start, and then HuK chooses Neoplanet S at the second map. And then the last map, Belshir.
Yeah, I think that would be the logical map pick.
Because I feel like the only reason HuK would keep Neoplanet S is because he has a solid style that he likes on it.
I mean, he likes to be very aggressive.
Okay.
Oh, XY actually throwing things away. He's saying, we're going to do Belshir first.
He just wants a straight-up game, and it's, again, the same sense as far as feeling out your opponent and see what they're up to. And HuK's going to choose the second map now.
Let's see which one is coming out of HuK.
Neoplanet S and Whirlwind.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, pick Whirlwind.
Okay, so we're going to Neoplanet last.
So I was completely wrong.
Actually, every single spot was switched. I mean, I agree with you. I think that was
I'm a competitive guy, man. Yeah. I don't like being wrong.
It happens. It happens.
See, I put my neck out there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to guess.
It is kind of interesting to pick Belshir first. Because Belshir is like the most standard map.
Right. Well, wouldn't that be why? I mean, maybe he just wants a standard straight-up game. He doesn't want anything crazy to happen. It's like, I'm just going to pick... I'm going to pick the map
that really means he has no cheeses planned. Because typically, if you have a cheese planned, you usually want to do it as fast as possible in a series. Because if you do a cheese in game 1, it may or may not work. Right? So this could on any game. But regardless, it'll mess with your opponent's mindset for the next 2 games. Because they'll be playing extra conservative. So unless you want to do a different cheese in every map, then it doesn't really matter so much. But in general, if you're like, in a best of 3, I want to do 1 really fast cheese and 2 normal games. You're gonna do the cheese on the first map most of the time.
We're in the lobby right now, guys. We're live here with WCS America, and I'd like to urge y'all to get on Team Liquid, get on Twitch.tv, and join the chat and have a conversation there. And also get on Twitter. Take advantage of being able to watch it live and have a conversation with people. Invite your parents to watch too. The players are ready. I'm gonna start game button. Belshir Vestige, first map.
This is gonna be really fun because HuK is such a crazy player in PvT.
Right.
He's one of the guys who still really loves to go early blink.
Yes.
Which is pretty unusual for Protoss players. Most Protoss players, I mean, of course they're going to get blink at some... Well, not of course. They often will get blink at some point or other.
Yes.
But it's usually after they get some type of power tech. And a power tech is something that helps you in a direct battle. It meant something like Charge at Archon, Colossi, or Storm.
Yeah.
Whereas Blink's a more fancy type of tech, and if you get stuck in a fight before, a mid-game fight with only Blink, you can be in trouble. But HuK's so good at using those Blink stalkers at trying to pick away at his opponent before they cross the map that he can actually make it work for him.
Loves those units that he can really, focus on like the control of them, right? The spellcasters, I guess. I think he'd be a guy who would like Infinite Crisis, probably. He'd probably like to play that game. A lot of control involved in that game. But we'll see what happens here in StarCraft 2 in the top left-hand location of Belshir Vestige. I present your blue Protoss player representing Team Evil Geniuses, hailing from Canada / United States of America. He is HuK. One of those non-Korean players that has been in the scene for a very long time. Pretty much everyone knows his name. He's had plenty of exciting runs through tournaments And of course, he started out on Team Liquid. Actually, that was one of the bigger stories
Millennium,
behind HuK.
actually, before
that. Millennium, yeah.
Yes. Very early.
But the first major team where he really made his presence in the scene was Team Liquid, and then he made that switch into Evil Geniuses, and that's like a lot of people saying, "Oh, going to the dark side," kind of a thing, because the rivalry between Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses is palpable. So, but here we are in the bottom right. Of course, I present your Red Terran player hailing from China. He went 2-1 against Hello Kitty, and then 1-2 against a Muslim in the Challenger League bracket stage to get to this point. Got a free ticket to the winner's match because Idra did forfeit. He is XY. Of course, it's important to emphasize the winner of this match, Premier League. Boom.
And that's the league you want to be in. The Premier League, you're guaranteed so much money, and you have the opportunity to make much more. I think you're guaranteed $1,500. You have the opportunity to make tens of thousands of dollars. Of course, as you point out, XY has already beaten Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty is actually a very good PvT player. I mean, he took out Heart. He almost took out SEC in round 32 of the Premier League. So HuK has got to be a little bit, afraid of XY as far as, yes, XY doesn't have the tournament accomplishments because the Chinese players don't really play outside of China, and so they don't have the international tournament exposure. But that doesn't mean they're not insanely good. We've seen, Max and Jim put forth amazing games, and we've seen XY take out Hello Kitty, who's one of the top up-and-comers from the Americas, and so HuK's got to be on his guard.
And of course, they're a little bit more difficult to kind of identify what kind of play style that's going to be thrown at you. Again, the Chinese players, they don't necessarily have that exposure worldwide where, all of their VODs are accessible and all their replays are reviewable. No, that's not the case. We've got a Reaper coming forward. Oh, this Reaper's dead.
Oh, I thought I was going to get away there for a second, but...
So that was actually...
I mean,
is that more XY screwing up or HuK kind of baiting that a little bit,
I mean, so there was two things that happened. It was clearly a mistake from XY. Should never do Reaper. But a couple things HuK did really cool there is when Azel went up the ramp, once he got out of the vision, he turned around and caught the Reaper off guard and got 2 swings, so that hurt the Reaper and was already low on life. And then XY just wasn't paying attention. So that's a timing thing. It's... like, his Reaper, it actually is about a 6-second delay from when it ran away from the Stalker to when it saw the Stalker. And that 6-second delay is due to him being at his base. And just looking at the minimap and not babysitting the Reaper at the moment when the Stalker could come out. So, a little bit of a misstep there. But, yeah, of course, it's not the game over. It sucks for his scouting because he doesn't know what's coming at him.
No idea. Yeah. Meanwhile, you get a Stalker across the map. Poked up. I'm not sure exactly what he saw. In the main base, of course. Poked up the ramp, saw the command center and the factory. A great scout there from HuK, of course. Didn't even lose any health on that Stalker. So, it's a situation where HuK knows exactly what's going on. XY has zero idea what HuK is up to. Except he knows his opponent has a Stalker on the map.
That's right.
And he knows he's in the top left. And he knows he's pro. That's it.
So, XY's next scouting ability will come once that medevac comes out. HuK trying to do a little bit of fancy micro with the Stalker.
Take a Marine out.
He just keeps microing.
Yeah, why not?
And he's not burning a Widow Mine in front of the command center to stop that. Okay, there the Widow Mine goes burning down. So XY is going for the Widow Mine drop. No armory behind us, so we might see some Hellbats after the Widow Mines. But that's going to be his ability to scout. The first drop, of course, it's nice to do damage, but it's also to scout the Protoss and really tell exactly what they're up to.
Immortal on the way. Actually, a second Immortal on the way here from HuK. A very safe style. I never know with Immortals.
He's chrono boosting it too. He might be going for a type of attack.
I think you're right. Because, you're investing a lot of gas in these Immortals, right? 200 gas.
Okay, there goes the force.
And that's gas that could be instead spent on progressing tech, right? Getting upgrades. So, I think I agree with you, but it's going to be dangerous because he saw the fast factory from his opponent. So he knows that there's a potential for drops and stuff.
Oh, he's going into his main defendant drop, but the units are coming into his natural. Goes an overcharge. He's going to deflect that.
That Stalker's like, see y'all.
Just snuck right by.
Rush with danger.
Yeah, and nicely done as well, deflecting a drop into main with some Stalkers there. As Widow Mine tried to pop in there. XY though is going to be. It's like yes, he didn't do damage, but he saw the Immortals and he saw the fact his opponent has expansion, and he's actually going back into main again with this Widow Mine drop. The Stalkers aren't paying attention. They're guarding the wrong part of the. There we go. He's not going in yet though. He's waiting. There's a photon cannon being made. Once that completes, the Widow Mine drop can't really do anything.
He didn't see the medevac though.
No, it snuck around him. Yeah, he's definitely going for an attack. HuK is. He's moving out here. He's chrono boosting to giveaways. This isn't like an all-in, but this is the idea is, you know, force a lot of bunkers, maybe get some SCV kills when SCVs have to go out to repair.
Has to be wary of the drop play. 2 Hellbats going to be sent to the, up to the top right inside of medevac, and the Widowmine drop, of course, lurking in the top left. But let's see how much damage he can get done. 2 Immortals.
Oh, Sentry.
Oh, wow, the Observer sees the Widowmine, but the Widowmine gets the shot off on the Sentry. Force field's going down. The bunker is not going to be able to be repaired. Another bunker about 60% of the way done. Now the drops are going to start happening here from XY, dropping 1 Widowmine there. HuK has to be careful not to lose too many probes, and XY just going to abandon his natural expansion. And now it's going to be up to HuK to make sure he doesn't make a mistake, because this is a great position he's in.
He is. I mean, he can definitely deny the expansion from his zone for quite a while. XY is going to hang on to high ground, so it's difficult for HuK to work his way up there. The Hellbat's in a natural. The drop is going down, but HuK responds. I think he responded fairly quickly. I don't think there's too many kills there.
I think he lost maybe 1 probe, and he targeted down the medevac, which I love, but the medevac that dropped the Widowmine is going to be annoying, and he's going to help heal that Hellbat. Meanwhile, Stalker's pecking away at that factory. The Observer providing that high ground vision, which has to be annoying. And again, HuK restricting his opponent to 1 base while he is on 2. Probes running for their lives at the natural expansion. Oh gosh! Hellbats get some good shots off.
No probes! Oh, okay, they're going to return home. The Hellbat will be finished off.
Scariest thing ever. Imagine a big mech unit with a flamethrower chasing you, and you have no way to defend yourself.
That's not the life
that's like
probe wants to have.
I can't think of a more terrifying experience in StarCraft 2.
So going forward here, I'm not actually sure who got the better end of that, because it looked great for HuK, but then that Hellbat drop did do a lot of, he lost a lot of mining time, and it did end up getting a couple of probes there as well.
Position though, man. I mean, he's not going to let that expansion get taken anytime soon.
He's got a better position. XY does have better tech though. There's no blink, no charge, no Colossus out. Oh, but force field on the ramp cuts off a good amount of units. The medevac's not rescuing him.
He's targeting on the orbital too, getting very low in health. SCV is going to scurry over and
repair that. He's actually just going to let all his units die. XY's not. Yeah, all those SCVs just going to be butchered, and HuK takes a nice engagement there.
Yeah, I mean, as long, well, does he have a force field left? Yeah, he does have a force field. Continue to make probes back home, I think. Well, I guess he doesn't need to. He's got great saturation at both of his bases.
Yeah, as long as he denies this expansion,
he doesn't really need to.
I'm surprised XY is not trying to send another counter drop. Or actually, wait, is he trying to send? Oh, another force field. He's just trying to muscle down the ramp, and that's never going to work. But another Hellbat drop.
Yep.
This is defended pretty well, though. There's a cannon and 2 stalkers.
Yeah, they're going to lose some more probes. Again, as long as HuK restricts his opponent to 1 base, he's not going to worry too much about losing a couple probes. Taking down the medevac too, and XY just having a terrible time getting anything done here. The drops aren't necessarily working. He's restricted to 1 base. He can't, explore the rest of Belshir Vestige. Can't take additional territory. And kudos to HuK for being able to, again, restrict that expansion from XY.
And I mean, right after that first attack, we had a situation where they had equal workers. HuK had a better position, but XY had a better tech. But then XY's tried to force himself down that ramp so many times. I think he's lost another 15 workers just trying to get down the ramp. And now he's in a terrible position. He's going to have to wait for enough medevacs. The normal way you break this and contain is once you have 2 medevacs, you send a double drop across the map, and the Protoss can't hold the contain and defend a double drop at the same time. But because he's kept losing the medevacs, I don't know if he can afford to do that. He only has a single one on the field right now, I think.
Yeah, and he has to rebuild them, and he's restricted to 1 base economy, and he's actually, slowly starting to mine out. One of the middle patches is already gone there in his main base.
Oh, his medevac doesn't have energy, actually. He's going to try to go once more down the ramp. Can HuK? HuK's actually just retreating.
Can the Stalker hold off?
No.
And now he's actually going to HuK a little bit indecisive. Thought about going home.
It was a trap. He's like, go down the ramp. I want to fight you. Come down. Come at me, bro.
Okay.
And
no sentries here, though, which is...
That's true. That's a lot of Zealots, and there are a few Hellbats, but HuK just has so much more. He's got to be careful, though. Again, those Hellbats could be detrimental to his primarily Zealot-based army. He's going to wait for a charge.
Okay. We also got, is that 2-2 on the way? Yeah, 2-2 on the way. So 1-1 is done. Storm on the way as well, so HuK definitely having a backup plan. Might take that 3rd soon, too. But doesn't mean he's not going to try to be aggressive towards this natural. Let's see if he waits for Storm, though.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes with Archons or Storm, there's a potential we could lose.
Okay, charge is done. He's still,
I don't know why the Hellbats are in the medevacs. I think they just want him on the ground against
well, maybe he wants to drop him on top of something.
Zealots.
Yeah, Zealots. Or maybe even the High Templar.
Oh yeah, just high tempo involved. That would be a great move. HuK is, I think he doesn't wait for Storm. He's realizing there's a lot of Hellbats and he doesn't want to charge into that because as his Zealots charge in, they're going to clump it, and Hellbats will just roast him up insanely quickly. But the longer he waits, the composition from XY is actually getting nicer and nicer because unless he waits for 2-2, you know,
look at this.
The Hellbat armor is going to finish.
I like the Hellbats in this medevacs because when HuK sees this, he doesn't necessarily know like how strong the army is, right? So he thinks, okay, that's a manageable army. He doesn't know there's 8 Hellbats inside the medevac. So it's going to be an element of storms. Oh, gotta watch out.
Oh, some nice control by XY though. Not actually losing all too much. I mean, the storms are still good, but manageable.
A lot of deception here. Well, that's a lot of charge loss.
Oh, that's so many. And there's 4 Immortals there as well. Of course, Immortals aren't that. Oh, he's going to target the Orbital.
Oh, the Orbital is going to fall, and now XY has to win here. He has to demolish HuK's army if he wants to win this game. Drop the Hellbats on top, but I think HuK might just have too much. He's up 122 to 68 in supply. Army supply is 62 to 40, warping in more Stalkers, and there's the GG from XY. HuK able to make it happen, showing very patient play throughout, dealing with the drops, being aggressive towards the natural. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. The last battle was so well managed by HuK. I mean, first he got the Orbital, so even if he lost, he wouldn't necessarily be dead because it'd be 2 base to 1. And then, because XY dropped all the Hellbats on the Stalkers and Immortals, the way it worked is it was a massive amounts of charge lots versus just bio. And then, of course, they're going to win
with no medevacs healing them necessarily. Because the Hellbats are, you know, they're zooming over to drop the Hellbats.
Yeah, so it was just mass charge lots versus bio, and then the Hellbats were only fighting Stalkers and Immortals. They weren't tanking the Zealot hits or killing the Zealots, and that's the perfect engagement for HuK. We can see here now. First, he goes for that Orbital. Yeah. And that way, it's like, even if I lose the battle, as long as he can't kill me with the counter swing. And then with the drop play, all the Zealots, you see that the Zealots, there's only 1 Hellbat fighting the Zealots, and the bio just gets torn to pieces.
There's stimming, and there's nothing to heal him right now.
Yeah, there's nothing to heal him, there's nothing to kill the Zealots, and they just get ripped to shreds.
Yeah, great play there from HuK. He's going to take the 1-0 advantage in this best of 3. Guys, stay tuned. It is a best of 3. HuK might be able to advance himself into Premier League if he wins this next game. Stay tuned. More StarCraft 2 coming your way.